Alrighty, folks, we are coming at you today. We are back. Predecessor is back, I think, in a big way. This is a much anticipated, very long anticipated version 1.2 patch notes just released this morning. Been refreshing the Predecessor patch notes page every day since they did that dev talk, which, by the way, I'm sure they'll mention it in here, but go check out that dev talk. It was kind of long, but the devs talked about all the stuff they're working on in 1.2. We are here to give you guys a patch notes breakdown. I think it is going to take quite a long time to go through these patch notes. Let's look. Oh yeah, there's a ton of changes. We're going to breeze over some of them, and we're going to look at some in detail. I have not looked over this yet, so this is also going to be first reactions to these patch notes. Like I said, these have been much anticipated. So let's hop right into it here. This is looking like a new hero's coming out as well. So this is going to be a long one. I'll put timestamps down there for you guys to see all the different parts for the item changes, hero changes, map changes. I encourage you also to pull up this patch notes page. I'll have it linked in the description, as well as the devs YouTube video where they went through talking about 1.2. So glad to be back with you guys today, and hopefully you guys can get hyped for this 1.2 patch. First off, looks like it's coming the 19th. So wow, pretty short time. They just released this the morning of the 15th, these patch notes. So let's go through here, see what they've got to tell us, and give you guys some reactions to it. I hope you guys enjoy. I know it's been a while since we've had a video on the channel, but really been waiting for this 1.2 patch for a while now. I know a lot of other creators like Obey the Papaya, who I watch, hasn't made a video in a while since the previous 1.12 patch notes. So let's get in here and get after it. Spooky season behind us. Yeah, we're getting ready for Winterfest 2025. So they mentioned that in the dev video. It's going to be another cosmetic change to the map and a whole bunch of other cool changes. Yeah, previously showcased teleporters. If you didn't see that video, there are going to be teleporters now, which they're calling Arcshot gateways. So that'll be pretty cool. Communications, UI overhaul, map adjustments, and more. So let's crack the whip and jump right into it. So I'm assuming that indicates that this is the hero that they data mined a while ago, that has a whip, kind of has an odd attack range maybe. We'll see what it looks like. Yin, the Jade Serpent. Yin is a powerful yet agile jungler / ADC hybrid, able to manipulate intense gusts of wind with the crack of a whip, turning her opponent's own attacks against them. So yeah, this is what we got data mined a while back. We will see if I can play this reveal trailer. It's great skins on her. Oh yeah, looks like she's coming with a couple different recolors. Yeah. So yeah, looks cool. From the data mine, she had her whip has like halfway between the attack range of a ranged carry and a melee. It has like a weird attack range. Yeah, basic attack range 550 units. So that'll be the first hero that has an attack range that's not melee or range or true range. So we'll see what that looks like. Rising Storm passive. Basic attacks against heroes or monsters grant her stacks of Rising Storm, stacking up to 8 times. Each stack grants 3, 4, 5, 6 bonus attack speed. Okay, so yeah, stacking attack speed is pretty cool. Damage an enemy unit with Lash Kick grants 3 stacks. Okay, so that's primary ability. Yep, basic attack. Has 85% scaling, physical damage, so that's cool. Lash Kick. Pretty short cooldown at max rank. 100 cost at max rank is kind of pricey. Yin swings her whip 1350 units, attaching it to terrain or enemy units and pulling herself towards the location. That's pretty crazy. She vaults off in the direction of her choice, so sounds pretty crazy. Enemies hit by the whip are rooted for the duration of travel, so that's great. That's kind of probably necessary as far as the coding goes. They receive damage when she vaults off of them. With 120% scaling is pretty cool. This hero, like I say, for all heroes, look for her to be nerfed multiple times after her release. This is probably all too strong. But that's how they want to release her, so that sounds crazy to do that much damage with 120% scaling on a movement ability is pretty crazy. Windburn, pretty cheap, pretty short cooldown. Yin extends her whip, increasing her basic attack range. Okay, so this basically will make her attack range like a normal carry. 100% cleave. Oh geez, the clear on that is going to be insane. The group fight and clear potential is crazy. Comes with a passive. Every third successful consecutive basic attack will deal bonus % damage of the target's maximum health as physical damage and heals her. Oh geez, yeah, this hero is going to be broken, guys. There's no way this isn't broken. All of this is going to have to get a nerf. I can go ahead and tell you that. Backlash alternate. Again, pretty cheap and a short cooldown. Yin cracks her whip, dealing damage with 100% bonus physical scaling to nearby enemies. So that may be all directions. And creates a sphere of pressure around her. If enemy projectiles hit the pressure sphere, they are reflected towards the sword. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. That sounds like a better version of how Grim immunes stuff. With a reflect in it. Short cooldown too. And it deals damage, so it's kind of a clear and a shield. That's pretty crazy. We'll have to see how that all pans out. And then the ult summons gale winds at her location for 5 seconds, granting her 10% movement speed. And enemies in it are slowed. Enemy projectiles that travel through are halted. Okay, so it'll be like a little stasis for projectiles. That sounds crazy. This is going to look wild in-game. I mean, this is going to look... It'll be interesting to see how these abilities look in-game, because this sounds absolutely wild, so... Next up, we've got skins. You know, obviously she's going to come with an extra skin. Wasteland Chimera, that looks pretty sick, actually. Wasteland Grim, pretty cool. I like the Wasteland theme. Oh, God. Wasteland Kalari, that's nice. Wasteland Twin. New bundles. So yeah, these are some pretty cool skins. I like the Wasteland concept. I like that. Obviously, they're going to be way overpriced, so don't buy any of them, but I won't be buying any of them. Okay, so new store extras. Yep, so they talked about a lot of this stuff in the dev video. We're going to have more sprays, more emotes. Standalone effects. So this will all be an extras tab in the store, which is good. We needed smaller cosmetics where you can use amber or platinum. So this is what we needed. We needed more uses for amber. I know a lot of people have been stacking it up if you've been playing quite a bit, and we don't really have anything to use it on. So now possible to buy skin variants outside of bundles. So that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Overhead emotes. So yeah, this is one of the things they showed off. There's going to be an emote wheel, and you can do little overhead emote symbols, which is nice. They talked about potentially having automatic emote systems for when you get kills or assists and stuff. Something will automatically pop up. I don't know if that'll be implemented here, but it did look pretty cool. Yeah, this is what it looks like in game. You can pop up a little emote to, you know, taunt the enemy team or congratulate teammates and stuff like that. Your sprays will be incorporated on the wheel, so you can have multiple sprays equipped. So that's pretty cool. Some nice customization stuff and stuff to spend our amber on. Communication wheel improvements. Let's see what this actually looks like. Okay. So they're adding never surrender, stand and fight, and out of mana. And they've also reordered some. That'll be cool. It'll take a little bit to get used to probably, but if you're already used to the chat system, but that's cool. Ranked mode improvements. This is a big one. We've removed interdivision promotion games, which they talked about. So once you're at 100, like if you're in gold 2 and you're going to gold 1, you don't have to hit a promotion game. You just go straight through it. So automatically grants promotion from 3 to 2 and from 2 to 1. But there are still promotion games between ranks. So from going from silver 1 to gold 3, you do have to win a promotion game after you've met the 100 VP. But in the interdivision promotion games, you do not. Adjusted VP updates for platinum and diamond ranks. So you can move through these ranks quicker. That's great. And Paragon rank, so winning and losing grants the same VP for all Okay, so that's great. That's great. There'll probably be more ranked changes coming in the future, like rewards and stuff that they discussed, but this is a good start for sure. Take some baby steps here. The Arcshot gateways. Now these are awesome. They showed these off in the video. Basically from cyan buff to gold buff, you can go in the teleporter and it'll arc you over, which looks really cool. Near the gold buff in the duo lane and cyan buff in off lane, these structures allow heroes to arc shot from one side of the map to the other, quickly flying over the battlefield before landing at the gateway on the other side. So yeah, this looked really cool in the videos. I guess we've got a video right here to look at as well. They do not become active until the 10-minute mark, which is important, so there's not a bunch of early game craziness going on. Still going to be a strong laning phase. And there's going to be a cooldown. They don't specify how long here, but there is going to be a cooldown. So yeah, these look really awesome. They said in the playtesting they were fun to use. They look fun to use. Okay, so you can see the timer right there for when you're about to get shot. And then you get shot over. And you land on the opposite side of the map. And you see they've configured the way that gold and cyan look around here. With some more space. So this will be interesting. Okay, here's the mechanics breakdown. They start at 10 minutes. Takes 2.5 seconds to get charged up. 4 seconds in the air. And you have a 3-minute cooldown after you've used one, which is cool. And that's going to be displaying that. Your timer. So that's cool. Once Arcshot gateways become active, yep. Yep. So you become immune to damage and crowd control, which makes sense. You're getting shot out. You don't want to get pulled out of the telly. Okay, so it will be contested if an enemy stands on it at the same time as you. This is kind of one of the things I was wondering that they didn't mention in the video. What happens if you and the enemy are both on at the same time? Will you both get shot? No, it's going to contest. So you stand on the Arcshot gateway for 1 second, and an enemy contests it. You still have a 1.5 seconds of uncontested time until you can travel. So yeah, you're going to have to either push them off of it or back off of it yourself, and neither of you will be able to travel, so that's good to know. That are either fully or partially charged will decay their charge at the same rate. So yeah, if you step off of it, the timer goes down like we saw as fast as the timer goes up. So that's cool. This will take some testing to see how it really feels, and it'll take a while for people to get used to it probably, but I definitely like that change. Fangtooth and Orb Prime Pit changes. Basically, they removed the raised outer ring from both of these pits. So you no longer have people that can climb up on that top outer ring and run around it and dance around it and avoid damage. Everybody's got to stay in the lower pit. They've also made this a half wall here, so some of the verticality using heroes can get over it and get line of sight on the pit easier and stuff like that. They said it made the pit feel a lot bigger, even though it's just removing that ring, which does make sense. So we'll see how that feels. The ledge within the Fangtooth and Orb Prime pits have been leveled. We'll see how that feels. I think that will be a better fighting situation. And the half wall still gives you good verticality usage. And also I think they lowered the escape wall, the back escape wall, so it's easier to get out of it with your blinks and stuff from the ground level. So Toxicity Improvements, we got a patch notes on this the other day. Just discuss some of the new AFK detention So, if the game starts and you're AFK, the game will be canceled. Yep. Let's see, going idle in the base or just tabbing out. Yep. So I'm sure they're going to talk about through this more here, and there's also going to be harsher penalties for AFK and getting kicked out of multiple games. AFK match cancellation. So this is what I was saying. If a player is considered AFK for too long in the first 5 minutes of the game, the match will now automatically cancel, and the offending player will be punished. So yeah, here's the little pop-up, matches ending. So somebody was AFK for too long at the beginning of the match. Why not? That sounds great. You don't have to worry about trying to get a surrender off, because you're not going to get a surrender off if somebody's AFK and they're not voting on the surrender. So player report feedback. Yeah, this is important too. When you report people, you really never got any word back on if anything happened to the people you reported or what was going on there. So now we're going to see a message, thank you, we've recently taken action against players you've reported. So yeah, that's awesome. You actually know that your reports are doing something. It seems like a lot of times they aren't, so that's cool. Menu improvements. Visual improvements to the menu. We've heard a lot of feedback with quickly tinkering away at all new menu UI. Okay, let's see what this video shows off. I don't know if... I don't see a lot of differences there. Collection, store. This looks pretty similar. I thought the menus were kind of fine. So, but I guess it looks... it is still sharp and clicky, so that's cool. Match history, this is cool. You can see... last 50, what does that say? Oh, that pulls up in another tab. Yeah, match history. We've already got the replay system, so it's not that big of a deal, but it's cool that they at least have the builds and kind of your outline of what went down. The watch tab, yeah, that's what I was talking about. We've already got the watch tab. Learn tabs and tutorial videos. So this will be cool, I guess, for new players. They've added a tab up here at the top. Home, collection, store, profile, matches, and then learn. So this is cool. Got some... yeah, got some details for new players. Why not? We need more onboarding. MOBAs are generally hard to get a grasp of. Top ranked leaderboards. So yeah, they're adding leaderboards for the top guys. I don't know if they said this would be... yeah, the top 500 ranked players. So that's cool. People have something more to compete for in the ranked place, in the ranked marketplace there. Draft purchasing. Forgetting to pick up a new release hero or skin before heading into the draft, no problem. So finally, they have caught up on this aspect, which has always been something in Smite and other MOBAs. You can purchase skins and heroes from the draft phase screen. Much appreciated. That's a standard feature. They finally got it down. Match found audio. Okay. So it's like a cannon shot or like a gunshot sound for when the match found audio pops up. They're really getting into detail in these patch notes. I guess that's cool. And here we are finally at the gameplay changes. So this was all kind of skins and UI stuff, map changes. Gameplay changes. This is going to be a big one. We'll see how this feels. They said it felt good in their testing. We'll see how it actually feels. Basically, they've made projectiles way faster. I think they said about tripled. So the travel time, it used to be that you had to kind of lead heroes more when they were strafing or minions, and you have a hard time connecting with them. Now it's near instant. Triple projectile speed is crazy. So we'll see how that feels. That'll probably take some getting used to for you guys that are carry mains. Triple projectile speed. The old one seems like it's fast when you're used to it, but then I'm sure the new one will just be way, way sharper. So that will be cool. Buff transfers is awesome. Certain buffs will now be transferred when a player kills an enemy hero possessing them. An active red or blue buff. So if their jungler's got a red buff and they jump on you, obviously they have the advantage in the fight, but if you take them out, you get the red buff. if you had acquired them normally, but last for a slightly reduced duration. So that's what I was kind of wondering. Do you get what's left on them, or do you get a full one? Looks like you get a reduced one. So yeah, that's cool. Protect against early jungle invasion. So yeah, if your jungle gets invaded early and they steal your blue buff, there's really no point trying to jump on them or your red buff, because they're going to kill you. But even if you kill them, you don't get the buff back, so you can now recover a stolen buff basically from that. So red and blue buffs will now be transferred, and you get them for 45 seconds when they're transferred. So that's cool. And then Brawl, who cares about Brawl? Enhanced Recall. Mini Orb, oh yeah, they talked about this as well. Mini Orb and Orb Prime buffs will now also reduce the time it takes to recall by half. So instead of 8-second recall, 4-second recall if you have a Prime buff. So that's cool. A lot of people are backing right after you get Prime, so that'll just kind of give your team a little extra advantage. Or if you're pushing deep on them after you get Prime, you'll be able to hide around a corner and back quicker. Enhanced River Bugs, they showed this off. Basically, after a certain amount of time, 21 minutes into the match, the River Bugs are getting a massive buff. They're going to do more damage to you, have a bunch more health. They're going to be like actual formidable, jungle boss instead of just one-shotting them. And they're going to come with increased durability and damage. Yep, that's the more health. Provide increased rewards. So, a full breakdown of the new notes can be found in the balance patch notes below. So we'll see those down here below. But basically, they're just going to be much stronger buffs and much stronger bugs that you have to kill to get those buffs. So, additional hero voice lines. The heroes are talking. Okay, so that's cool. I have more. We won't spoil the new voice lines here. Keep an ear out and let us know what new lines you hear. So that'll be cool. Hear more. Hear your hero saying more stuff other than just announcing when your ult's ready. New tower danger visual effects. Okay, nice. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, they got a nice little red wall there to let you know when you're in the little glow surrounding them. So you can see on the ground from that glow how far the aggression range is. And the glow will change based on tower's aggression status. So we can't really see that there from where they're standing, but that's cool. Brawl mode hero freedom. Oh, jeez. I don't like the look of that. Ever wanted to run to watch the world burn with a battlefield full of Iggy and Scorches? At long last, you can now select multiple of the same hero in Brawl. Whatever, cool, I guess. I mean, that's going to lead to a lot of mages in Brawl, but PlayStation Improvements, trophies, 120 frames per second mode. Cool, we'll see how that looks, I guess. That's what I play on, so we'll give you guys an update of that after we mouse and key support, finally, as well. New level up rewards. We're adding new level up rewards up to level 20. Already level 20 or higher, we'll be retroactively adding them at a later patch. Oh, great. Okay, well, we'll see what those rewards look like. I don't think they're announcing it here. So here's the Winterfest. We're getting a new map reskin, as I alluded to. Winterfest is back. This year's event starts on December 3rd and features a brand new battle pass loaded with free and premium festive rewards. That's pretty cool. So this patch, this 1.2 patch is dropping the 19th, but this will be December 3rd. We'll get the new map and the whole Winterfest stuff, so we'll keep an eye out for when they release a patch notes discussing what all is included in that. Consider this a heads up. We'll go into full detail when it's a little closer. So yeah, that'll be cool. Definitely excited for Winterfest. It sounded like they had a lot planned as far as skins, emotes, and all sorts of stuff for that. Twitch drops. Great. Watch Twitch, get some drops. I may end up, I haven't discussed this yet, but I may end up having to stream on Twitch because the do potentially have streaming capabilities now with nicer internet, but YouTube and PlayStation are kind of being weird. I've been trying to play with it. So if I can't get that worked out, I will update you guys of a potential Twitch channel. But the plan is to try to get a YouTube stream going. So gameplay balance changes. So here is where we're at finally. We're actually over halfway through the patch notes, which is great. I kind of expected them to be even longer than this. So gameplay balance changes. Ranged basic attack projectiles are now faster. Yep, we discussed that and saw the video of that. Gateways have been added to the map from gold to cyan. We saw that. The Arcshots, they look really cool. Changes to Fang and Ore Pit, we saw that. More space to move around in there. River buffs. River bugs now become stronger at the 21-minute mark. So those will be cool. They do seem pretty formidable. I guess we'll see what the actual buffs look like down here numbers-wise. Mini Orb and Orb buff now grant faster recall. So yeah, half the recall time if you've got a prime buff. Red and blue buffs now transfer on killed, and the person who kills you gets them for 45 seconds, so that's great. And then we'll have, of course, some hero and item rebalances, which will be interesting to go through. So projectile speeds, we saw that it's about 3 times faster. Certain abilities have also had their speed increased to match this. These are listed in the hero selection. So this is what I was kind of wondering. Certain abilities like the phase, projectile shot, or like Sparrow's long-range arrow and stuff like that. I was wondering if they would kind of get a buff too, and it looks like they will, so we'll see what that looks like. So here's the river bug details. 21 minutes they spawn, and then they'll spawn every 2, they'll continue to level up every 2 minutes, so they'll get stronger and stronger. They provide their previous rewards and buffs alongside some additional health regeneration, an additional element of their buff. So enhanced bugs give you more gold, give you more experience, give you more mana regeneration, which is quite a bit, over double the base and double the scaling. They give health regen, which is new. The smaller ones don't give you that, so that'll be cool. And then here's the enhanced buff types. So orange buff will give you 30% attack speed and 5% omnivamp now instead of just attack speed. Pink buff, 20% increased ability damage and 20 ability haste, which is quite nice. Gray buff gives you 100 movement speed and an additional 15% out of combat movement speed, so that's pretty cool. Because the out of combat movement speed stuff, like with the moon boots and stuff, is pretty generous on how quick you get it when you have been out of combat, so look forward to that. Green buff grants you the max health shield and now also explodes on depletion, dealing 200 plus 5% maximum health as magical damage. So yeah, and slowing for a second. Wow, so that green buff shield is going to be pretty crazy now to dive in with. Let it explode and slow people. Stats and rewards, health's increased. Yeah, so a massive health increase on them. They're going to be harder to take down. They have a lot more power, 5 times the power and 8 times the scaling per level. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Here's some red buff and blue buff changes. Slight decrease in their durability from the second spawn onward. So health decrease pretty substantially, and it'll transfer, and then blue buff also health decrease. Really not that substantially, actually. The scaling is reduced though, so late game it will make a difference for sure. Fangtooth. Matches are currently determined too strongly by a team's ability to secure jungle objectives. We like that. That's how we like it. Why are you... Come on. But they're just taking 20 gold away from securing Fangtooth for the team, so that's fine. Mini Orb, 50 gold reduction for the team. Mini Orb buff now grants empowered recall. Yeah, which we touched. So yeah, this is a little bit less gold for the team when your team gets one of these buffs. Orb Prime, 100 less XP for taking it. And then, of course, faster recall. So that's it for the buffs, the bug adjustments and everything. Now it looks like we're going straight into hero balance changes. Expect quite a bit of them here, so let's see what it looks like. Decker, we're not gonna read all these. You can come in here, like I said, I'll link this patch notes. You can come in here and read their logic and stuff, but to save time for you guys, we're just gonna hit the actual notes. So, health regeneration decreased pretty minorly. That won't make too big of a deal. And then the photon disruptor damage decrease. 15 damage early does seem pretty substantial. And then the scaling was bumped back up. She used to have better scaling. So that's cool. That's cool. I mean, I don't think that's going to shift her around too much. Fangmao, hamstring, cooldown decreased. A second at early ranks, and it's the same at the end game. So that's cool. He'll make him even better at farming the jungle, which is one of their goals for one of the last times it got updated. Gideon, Cosmic Rift, mana decrease to a flat 80, which is cool, and scaling increase. This is good. Gideon needs to come back into his high damage meta that he was in before. They did some good buffs to him last patch, but he still didn't quite push up into an upper tier mage. Void Breach, mana decrease across all ranks by 10. It's cool, give him better management of his mana. And then just some bug fixes to his black hole. Now it correctly deals 10 instances of damage instead of 9. Total damage was increased, but it's spread over one more instance, so armor will be more effective against it. Probably still does more damage overall, and then total magical power scaling increased to 260. So it should hit harder, spreads it over more ticks though, so armor is more effective against it, which I like both of those changes. Howitzer, it's weird that they say this is a bug fix. Like I guess they intended for that to be functioning last patch and it didn't quite work. Slow grenades, initial damage increase. That sounds pretty strong. Howitzer's slow grenades have already been good, so making them even better is going to be interesting. Damage per missile increase by 2 across all ranks, which buffs the total damage just by a little bit. So that's nice. Make his ult more impactful. Kira, projectile speed increased by 45%. So that's of Mercy. So yeah, so that's what they're going to have to do on a lot of these carries that have like projectile based abilities. They're going to have to buff the movement speed of them. Belica, Seismic Assault. Cooldown changed from 16 to 12 to 16 to 11. That's cool. She probably needed shorter cooldowns in the late game. 16 is still pretty long early game, so it's not like game breaking. And then the Void Bomb damage increase pretty minorly, but also gets 5% scaling, and then also gets an extra 5% scaling when it gets maxed, and a 5.5. I always felt like this had a really short cooldown to begin with, so now Void Bomb is going to be even more spammable and hit a little bit harder, so that's cool. Narbash. I like playing Narbash, so let's see what they've done here. Healing decreased. Oh, come on. Okay, it's just at max rank. Same early game, and then decreased late game, so that's cool. He was making tanks a little unkillable when he'd sit behind a Sevrog and just keep him full health all game. Richter with his passive cooldown increased to 10 seconds. That's nice. I hate seeing the Richter that I'm laning against that's constantly got a shield going because we can only poke him every 10 seconds, not 8 seconds, so now that will no longer be an issue. Sparrow, piercing shot, like I said, speed increased to 2.5 times. That's one of the ones I mentioned earlier, of course. That's they're going to have to do that to a lot of these. Steel, good, get him out of here. Health decreased pretty substantially, 30 less health at the beginning of the game. A little bit better regen, and the shield wall, which is my favorite ability, of course. Cooldown decreased, thank goodness. It felt so long early. I often leveled this just to get shorter cooldowns. And now you potentially won't have to. Now commits its cooldown at the end of the ability. Okay, never mind. Never mind, that's effectively even longer of a cooldown. Twin, vaporize, damage decrease, and projectile speed increase. The decrease is just at max rank, so still be good early poke. I don't know about that. I did kind of like building Twin Blast for vaporize, so now that's going to be less viable with 20 less base damage at the final upgrade. And then his ult, damage per bullet decreased by 1. That probably won't make too big of a difference. I wish they would have put the total damage number on there too, so we can kind of see what that looks like. Wraith hasn't really been in a great spot in a while, but he also can be very strong if you're good with him. Vision radius increased. That's good because I want his improved or his better version of wards to be even better. Like there has to be a nice benefit to having them over normal wards, so that's cool. Basic attack, scaling decrease. Okay. And then scaling decrease on his knock too. So wow, okay. I guess they thought he was a little too strong. He probably is at really high tier play because people are just good with him like that. Zinx. Who would have guessed Zinx needed another nerf, guys? Every time a hero comes out, I tell you, these heroes are getting nerfs. How many nerfs in a row did we see for Terra? Like 6 patches in a row? This will be the 3rd or 4th patch. I guess like 3rd major patch of Zinx getting nerfed. Basic attack increased. Damage over time decreased for the infuse. Not too much, just a little bit. Power scaling decreased. Okay. Wow. And then the ult cooldown increased. So who would have guessed that Zinx needed another nerf? Guys, only anyone who's seen every hero they've released so far. They get released way too strong. They get nerfs. We only saw... that's the end of the hero changes, which is surprising. I guess they don't want to mess around with too much. We have a fair bit of item changes, I guess I'm assuming. But we only saw one nerf come for Skylar, so I guess they were kind of happy with where Skylar released at. Because we didn't see another one here. Maybe they're just kind of waiting to feel it out, or maybe some of the items that she uses got nerfed. So let's go ahead and dive into these item changes. We're making pretty good time here, even though this is, like I said, going to be quite a long video. Crest, we got Razorback. Damage reflection decreased to 12%. That is pre-mitigated damage, of course. I don't really like that. I think Razorback already had tough competition for it to get built, but I guess on some heroes like Rampage and Sevrog, it still was ridiculously strong to build Razorback. So, Time Flux Band, Turntable now, additionally refunds 15% of missing mana. That's good, because if you hit the Time Flux and you come out of the other end of it and have no mana, then there is no point. So, get right on them for Time Flux. Carry items, we get Ashbringer, attack speed increased from 30 to 35. That's good, and I didn't see a lot of people building Ashbringer, so maybe it'll be more investigated as a potential decent build option. A Noxian Quiver, multi-shot projectile speed increased, of course. You have to. I'm glad they didn't nerf it though, because this is a fun item to build on melee heroes as well. The Solaris, cost decreased, good, and ability haste increased, good. So I did like this hero this item when it came out. It is very fun to build on kind of your attack speed based heroes, fun to build on Skylar and stuff like that. 5 extra ability haste and 100 less cost could potentially push this into a spot where you see more carries taking it, I would assume. Spectra has emerged as a rather dominant item since its addition. Yeah, we're not in a full on-hit meta, but on-hit users do make very good use out of it. Cost increased, ability haste decreased, which is fine. That's not really why you're building this item. And then the Prism slow decreased, so that is why you're building this item. So that probably does bring it more in line with some of the other on-hit items, if not maybe below par. So we'll see what that looks like. yeah, definitely, Zinx's Mural off lane, you were going to want to build that on, so we'll see what that looks like. Assassin items. A lot of these were not very well balanced, in my opinion. Not as well balanced as like the mid laner items, so we'll see what they've done here. Nightfall, Omnivamp increased, good. You need better Omnivamp items. 6%, just a 1% increase though, so not that big of a deal. Pain Weaver, 3% flat movement speed added to the item. That's awesome. I love Pain Weaver. It's really good on a lot of heroes. Now, why not build it on a couple more heroes? They didn't really, this is a pretty minor change, but good for junglers that like to get around the map fast. I'm thinking Kalari could probably make good use out of it, as well as, of course, Fang Mao you're building it on without a doubt. Perforator, physical pin decreased to 6 flat, and puncture armor penetration increased to 30%. So a good trade-off. Obviously, it's meant to be an anti-tank item. 30% is better than 28, and that 2% is a much bigger deal than the 1 flat pin. So good, awesome. Fighter items, Berserker Axe, movement speed increased from 3 to 4. If you were building it before, you're still building it. Doesn't really change it too much. Bonesaw. Who would have guessed Bonesaw is overpowered? I didn't make a video on it for you guys because I haven't been making videos, but as soon as they did those Bonesaw changes in the last patch, I started building it. First item on Greystone, and it absolutely sweeps people. Is emerged as a strong contender in the Bruiser item pool. Yeah, no joke. It made Greystone pretty broken. You see it get built on a lot of heroes now, Grux, all sorts of attack speed based heroes, so it needed a nerf. It needed a nerf bad. Cost decrease on Mutilator, awesome. You're building Mutilator a lot of the time on all like ability fighters that want that healing from it, so that'll be interesting. That shouldn't make it too strong. Salvation health decreased from 500 to 450. This is completely unnecessary. Why would you do this? Nobody's building Salvation. If you are building Salvation, now maybe you're not as happy about it. So why would you do that? Whatever. Mage, Noxia. Power increased. Okay, I mean, Noxia was already pretty strong. A lot of mages already had it as a standard item. 5 extra power is not going to break it, but it is going to get built a lot. It's already getting built a lot. Oathkeeper Celestial Spellblade damage increased from 50 to 55. You're already building Oathkeeper kind of in conjunction with Magnify for the health and the ability spam type stuff, so that's cool. That's cool, I guess, whatever. Oblivion Crown, editor note. I lost the image for this one, sorry. How do you have time to come in here and put an editor note, but you don't have time to actually just put the item picture in? It's kind of interesting. Saving enough money for crown. Yeah. So decrease the cost by 100. That's good. You're building a late game anyway, usually when gold doesn't matter, so that's not that big of a deal. Overseer. This item's been pretty strong since they released it. It's almost a must build on the majority of mid laners. Yep, Countess. I like building it on a Countess, potentially his first or second item. Cost increased by 100. Probably was due, and Magical Lifesteal decreased by 1%. So probably was due. It was very strong and getting built on a lot of mid laners. So take it down a notch. Soul Bearer. You don't see a lot of people building Soul Bearer. Magical power increased by 5. Yeah, why not? It might make more people consider it. It's not that big of a change. Spirit of Amir. Oh, a couple changes here. Many mage junglers seeking a damage-heavy build, such as Quang, struggle to justify opting into Amir. That is true. It used to be a lot better when it gave you movement speed. Frailty that it leaves when compared to other choices early game. So they added 175 health to it. In exchange for 5 less power, 1 less pin. I guess. Why not? Why not? I guess it's more viable on more heroes now, but it's probably not any stronger or weaker. Time Warp cost decreased. Awesome. I love Time Warp. Time Warp's the go-to. It's the best cooldown item in the game. So yeah, if you want cooldown, it's a must build. We'll take it. We'll take a cost decrease on it for sure. Wraith Leggings with 5 power added. Wraith Leggings are already incredibly strong, so very surprising to see them nerf this or buff this more. Wow. Okay, Wraith Leggings. Build Wraith Leggings, guys. Every game, build Wraith Leggings. Gives you great burst, gives you good flat pin and stuff like that. Tank Elefrost. Frostblade damage reduced from 50 to 40. Okay, that's not ideal. But, you know, the percent scaling off your health damage is what you're really in it for anyway. And the slow, so that's not that big of a deal. Flux Matrix, health decreased. Oh, come on. Magical armor increased. So yeah, one of the things about the magical armor items, the magical armor and health items, is they always give you a ton of health and a little bit less armor. So I guess they're just making this more in line with some of the items like Elefrost, Fire Blossom, some of those that give you the 40 armor mark instead of sub 40. So Frost Guard, magical armor increased 30 to 35. That's good. Nobody's really building Frost Guard unless there's certain enemy team comps that you need it against. That'll make it more considerable as a potential dual armor item. Remnant of Renewal, health decreased. Why are you doing this? This defeats the point of Remnant of Renewal. It should still be 700 health in my opinion. There's no need to even take it lower than 650. Just take it back to 700. This is not a broken item by any means. What do they even have to... Remnant provides a significant durability in early game, especially when rushed first. Yeah, that's the point. It's going to fall off late because it doesn't give you armor. Low interaction gameplay. Who cares, man? That's the point. I'd be in favor of this going back to 700. Make it 100 more gold and put 700 health back on it. Stonewall. Similar to Flux, Stonewall is trading some health for armor. Okay, Stonewall is already a 60 armor item. How much more health do we need to trade here, guys? That won't make a big difference. People are building Stonewall in conjunction with a bunch of other physical armor items. So making it even more tanky is kind of fine, I guess. Tainted Bastion, okay, same thing. They're, you know, like the Flux Matrix, the magical armor items generally gave you a bunch of health and less armor. Now giving you 5% extra regen in exchange for 50 health is not a great, it doesn't make it any stronger for sure, but why not? It's already a must-build item a lot of the times if they have a Countess or they have a healing mid laner. Or Sevrog. Unbroken Will. Cost decrease by 50. Health decrease majorly. Good grief. Okay, magical armor increased to 45. So yeah, that's not good at all. I liked the 500 health on it. It was fun. I guess they just kind of nerfed health in general, it looks like. And that actually is the end of the item changes. So I was expecting more potential item changes in there. That's a pretty short list. Brawl balance changes, bugs spawn at different times. Yeah, nobody's worried about those. Pretty big list of bug fixes, and then at the end, ooh, that's a lot, isn't it? We hope you're enjoying playing. We hope that you enjoy playing with Yin again, and we'll find these changes and improvements are impacting your experience for the better. As always, let us know what you think in the Discord or Reddit. So, yeah, I guess Yin was in Paragon back in the day. I didn't play with her much back then. So, as far as the changes go, I guess let's do a quick recap of the standout hero and item changes. Standout hero changes, I didn't see a lot that were really crazy impactful. Gideon getting a series of buffs is nice. It might push him back into where he's getting picked over heroes like Gadget and Howitzer, which he really hasn't been getting picked over. Howitzer getting a little bit stronger. I already thought he was pretty good, and if you play against a good Howitzer, you'll definitely have a hard time for sure. None of the other ones were really too crazy. The general nerfs to Wraith's damage is interesting, and then Zinx getting kind of across the board nerfs again. But the standout ones I would say are Gideon. Gideon is kind of the only real impactful one that I see. The Bellica one could be impactful. We could see her spamming that Void Bomb more, and really having a big impact with it dealing more damage and being more spammable. So we'll see how those go. Item changes wise, I didn't see a bunch that were super crazy. I don't think you're really seeing Time Flux Band built more because of the changes. The only ones that you may see built more for sure is Solaris. You may see built more. Cost reduction and ability haste on it is nice on certain heroes. I'm thinking Skylar. I'm thinking potentially Grim. We'll see who ends up building this the most. Spectra nerfs is interesting. Nightfall, pretty minor changes across the board. Painweaver, I already thought Painweaver was quite good, so I would expect to see Painweaver built on more ability assassins and solo laners, potentially high damage solo laners. Mutilator cost decrease is awesome. Noxia extra power, you're going to see it built a lot. Overseer nerf, this is actually one of the bigger ones. Even though it's a minor nerf, it needed to be rebalanced. It was quite strong. Spirit of Vermeer is one of the bigger changes. I don't know how this will affect it, but I would assume more heroes will build it, but then when you do build it, you're still, kind of curious on if it's actually worth the build, because it's not going to compete with Magnify. Given 175 health, 70 power, flat pin, this is basically a worse version of Magnify in a lot of ways now, so I don't really see that. Wraith Leggings build it all the time. And then the general health reductions across a couple of the magical armor items and Remnant of Renewal. I don't see myself ever building Remnant of Renewal at this point. It's just not worth it for 600 health. None of these other ones are really super impactful. I mean, Unbroken Will getting a huge nerf in its health added. Just for 10 extra armor. It's definitely still buildable on a big armor build if you're building 3 magical and 3 physical armor items, or if you're comboing it with the new 5 extra armor added on Frostguard. It's probably valuable if they have heavy CC, but probably looking at building it less. It was one of my preferred magical armor items, but now it's probably going to be like a CC comp exclusive type item. So that's the summary. Not too many hero and item changes, mainly some big map changes that we're looking at between the buffs changing and the teleporters coming in, of course. And then, of course, we'll be looking forward to Winterfest. Nice graphical improvements, nice audio improvements and chat improvements, a lot of UI stuff. The attack projectile speed increase is going to be very impactful for sure. And that's pretty much it. We'll look for some more. This is coming out very shortly here. Of course, yeah, there's the teleporters, the Arcshot. We'll watch this one more time. This is what it looks like. You stand on it. It charges up. And then it shoots you over the top, which is cool that they did this instead of you just appearing over there. And then, boom, you land between Cyan buff and Gold buff, so that's cool. The opened up pits are cool for Fang and Prime. AFK penalties are awesome. Reports for responding to you after you've done reports on when action has been taken about it is quite cool. And yeah, that's it. This is going to be a big patch. Like I said, much anticipated patch. New hero, of course, is one of the big highlights. With Ying here, she's going to be broken. We'll play this again here. She is going to be broken. There's no doubt about it. If you don't think she's going to be broken, then you have not been paying attention to the last 4 heroes that they've released. Yeah, so I like the reskins too, the recolorations. They did a really good job. Yeah, they did a really good job. I do remember when she came out in Paragon, and she was pretty crazy. So we'll see how she feels in Predecessor here. So that is going to do it for this patch 1.2 overview. Thank you guys for watching. Glad to be back. I hope everyone's making a big resurgence to Predecessor or Return to Predecessor as it resurges here, because I do expect this patch, as well as the Winterfest on December 3rd, to be a big revival of the player base. It's going to be a fun one, guys. Looking forward to it. But thanks again for watching, and we will catch y'all in the next one.